What is up, guys? My name is Wardog3 and I'm back again with another aircraft review in Ace Combat Infinity. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at the aircraft that got demolished by the F-4 in the Vietnam War, also known as the Flying Tube or the Pencil with Wings. Yes, I am talking about the MiG-21. The third of many aircraft to be unlocked in Ace Combat Infinity, the MiG-21 can be purchased for a credit price of about $24,000. As with all shit tier aircraft, the MiG-21's upgrade costs, as you would find, are pretty cheap until you get into the 11 to 15 level range, which, I mean, that's basically just a given right there. Before we get into the stats of the MiG-21, I would like to preface the review for this guide. This applies for all guides going forward. When I did my F4 reviews, I was playing with a level 15 and level 10 aircraft respectively. Those are my F4E and F4G, so I didn't feel the need to mention this. But after flying countless sorties in a level 1 aircraft, that is my MiG-21, I would like to say that no matter what aircraft you are flying, it's gonna suck for the first few levels. Doesn't matter if it's shit tier or top tier, it's usually gonna take up to level 4 to become semi-competitive. But since I'm poor and need credits and not a fan of the MiG-21, I decided not to level this aircraft up for the review, which is okay because the aircraft qualities of this aircraft are still very noticeable. Anyway, moving on to the stats. The speed on this aircraft is low. Like most Vietnam-era 1950s aircraft, the lackluster single engine the MiG-21 had did not provide it with a lot of power and is reflected in this game as well, with the F-4 being an exception because it needed tremendous thrust to lift its massive weight and body into the air. The MiG-21's level 15 speed can reach a top stat of B+, which is not exactly what you want if you're looking for something fast. Moving to mobility, however, the MiG-21 is actually quite a nimble aircraft. It reaches a top stat of S, which is surprisingly good, considering this is your shit tier fighter. You're basically your starter fighter along with the F-16. This is a pretty nimble aircraft. Even from level 1, I recognized that it was very maneuverable, and I could dodge a lot of crashes and anything else that gets in my way. Like with most single-engine aircraft, the MiG-21 does not have good stability. It is even lower than the typical F-4E at a level 15 stat of C, and although this is kind of the same level 15 stat as the F4E, I found that this aircraft definitely liked to stall out a lot more, and that's probably because A, it's a single engine aircraft, and B, it's a fighter, so you don't necessarily want it to be the best and most stabilized aircraft, but stability wasn't really that good. Like with most fighters in Ace Combat Infinity, even though this aircraft is shit tier, the air damage is pretty good. It is a fighter and it has a top stat of B+ for the level 15 upgrade, but flying it at level 1, the air damage was pretty garbage, but I can understand if you level it up. It'll definitely be pretty good at dogfighting, which is what this aircraft was meant for. On the opposite end, looking at the ground damage, this is horrible. Level 15 stat of D+ and F at level 1. So you don't want to be going for ground targets, even though I did, but that was only because my aircraft was level 1. And I don't really want to upgrade it because I'm not the biggest fan of Russian fighters. But yeah, ground damage, don't hit ground targets with this thing. Just don't. Unless you're using MGP. But other than that, don't. Defense is pretty horrible at first, but getting all the way up to level 15, you can get a top stat of A, which is pretty useful, but you're not going to be attacking ground targets with this, and you're probably not going to let missiles hit you from other fighters, so this shouldn't be too much of a problem. But the A stat is pretty good. The defense is pretty good, I'd say, for a fighter aircraft, that is. Overall, taking a big look at the stats, this is your shit dogfighter. It is not very good at many things, and you probably should find a new fighter aircraft once you get the chance. However, there is one redeeming feature about this aircraft that I will talk about later on. Part slots, going into those part slots, they are even worse than the F4G, coming in with 11 in the body, 9 in the arms, and 10 for the miscellaneous. This is horrible, and is another thing that holds the MiG-21 back from being useful, especially with the special weapon loadout that it has. It's worse than the F4G because you get more body slots but less arm slots, which doesn't really make any sense because you should be focusing on dealing the most damage per second in an aircraft. Going from levels 1 to 5 to 6 to 14, you get 2 extra part slots for all slots, 13 on the body, 11 on the arms, and 12 on the miscellaneous. This is an improvement, but it is still horrible. Not good enough for a fighter, especially when you need to equip all those missile upgrades. And at level 15, you get 1 additional part slot for a total of 14 on the body, 12 on the arms, and 13 on the miscellaneous. As I just said with the previous two, these still suck. As with the F4G, part slots are a key weakness on this aircraft. It does hold it back a lot and prevents it from becoming a really nice and fun fighter to use. Anyway, I think you guys get the gist. The part slots are not good, and it does hold the special weapons effectiveness back on this aircraft. Speaking of special weapons on the MiG-21, let's take a look at them right now. First off, at level 1, you get the HPAA air-to-air missile. Second, at level 4, you get the MGP. And then at level 7, for the third and final special weapon, you get the SAAM, or as I like to call them, SAMs. Overall, what I think about this special loadout is the HPAA actually is a pretty good starting special weapon. Then you move up to the MGP at level 4, which is quite a fun weapon. And then you move on to the SAMs, which is kind of a downgrade from the previous two. I don't really recommend using them unless you absolutely love them. But overall, the MiG-21 special weapons aren't exactly great. They're more so fun, shall we say. The MGP is the way to go on this aircraft. It is so fun to use sometimes. You can even use it to help you with ground targets. But what I really love doing with this aircraft, and I have an alternate account with a level 4 MiG-21, is use the MGP in combination with the regular machine guns, and you can literally gun down aircraft really quick by equipping the armor-piercing rounds, and that basically ups your damage significantly. You can also use the HPAA if you want, but I only recommend you do that from levels 1 to 4 until you get the MGP. And then, like I said, SAMs are kind of just eh. In conjunction with the MGP and its special weapon parts, you know, you can use whatever you like for the body and miscellaneous. Like I said, you don't have a lot to work with, so it's not really going to matter anyway. Anyway, so getting down to the bottom line, what do I think of this aircraft? Well, I don't really think of it as a good fighter. Even with the HPAA, which is a very nice special weapon, it's not really going to outperform, you know, the top tier fighters like the F-22 and the YF-23 and level 15 F-15s and level 15 MiG-29s and that kind of thing. Rather, I think it's one of the funnest aircraft to use. It's the only fighter in the game that carries the MGP special weapon, which is absolutely so fun to use. I kid you not. How many times more can I say it? Absolutely shredding air targets with both your regular machine guns and your MGPs. It's so satisfying and so fun. I recommend you guys try it out. And that's kind of what the MiG-21 is useful for. Now, this aircraft is possible to take to level 15 if you wish, but I only recommend it if you're swimming in credits, if you're itching to have a lot of fun using the MGP. Now, moving on to the special variants, we actually have a special variant for this aircraft, which was missing on the previous two, F4E and F4G. That is the MiG-21 Sagittarius, which I think was found, I don't know, there's been so many tournaments in this game, I can't even remember how long ago. My best guess would be to say a month and a half or so. I really don't know. I don't keep track. I don't really pay attention to tournaments, except for the War Dog one, but I'm getting off track here. If you actually manage to win this one, this is actually a pretty good special variant. It's not just another useless Eagle or useless Mirage just to add to the game. This one is actually pretty useful for the one it is. Unfortunately, you can't get it if you don't have it at the moment, but if you do have it, I highly recommend it over the vanilla version of the MiG-21. And here's why. It has 18 part slots, I believe, instead of the 11, 9, and 10 that the vanilla one gets at level 1. So basically this allows you to really ramp up your effectiveness of the MiG-21, especially if you get it to level 10, because I believe that tournament aircraft that are specials, I believe they get less credit costs. They take a lot less to upgrade. So that can be really helpful. This special variant is actually pretty good if you have it. And if you do have it, I highly recommend that you use it. And plus, it's got that nice little design on the tail. All the vanilla MiG-21's got is basically just a grungy kind of camo here. Not really interesting. Anyway, guys, so that is the review of the MiG-21. Overall, I didn't really like this aircraft that much, but then again, I'm more of a F4E, big boy airplane type of guy, American airplane type of guy. But this was a fun aircraft to fly around in, even in my level 1 and my level 4 one on my alternate account, which unfortunately I didn't show any gameplay of because I didn't get any. I would have loved to show the MGP shredding aircraft. But yeah, noobs, you know, use it if you want to. I mean, it's not the best starting aircraft at all. And guys who want to turn into a level 15 monster, I highly recommend that you do so. But that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll join me on the SU-25 review next week. Peace out, and take it easy.